1800 hours Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Sumaira Kamal. First, the headlines. Prime Minister says the government is increasing the flood relief assistance under Benazir Income Support Programme from 28 billion to 70 billion rupees. Speaker National Assembly urges the global community to act swiftly to tackle the climatic crisis and help Pakistan, the most affected country by the climate-induced disaster. The United States has pledged full support to Pakistan in mitigating the sufferings of the flood-affected people. Pakistan and the United Arab Emirates have agreed to accelerate the economic activities between the two countries. Minister of State for Foreign Affairs says Pakistan aspires to work with the world to develop a framework of cooperation to address the objective of non-proliferation and global economic progress. A Srinagar-based civil society organization says Indian troops are blatantly involved in war crimes, killing extrajudicially the innocent youth in the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. And now the news in details. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif says the government has decided to increase the flood relief assistance under Benazir Income Support Programme from the existing 28 billion to 70 billion rupees. Talking to flood-affected people during his visit to relief camps in Khambar Shahad Court district of Sindh, he said the country has suffered unprecedented loss due to floods. He said increase of 2.5 times in the volume of the assistance program has been made in view of the gross damages of infrastructure and crops in the wake of flash floods. Prime Minister said the compensation amount of 25,000 rupees is already being given to each flood-affected family to help them. He further said joint efforts at the national level are need of the hour to mitigate the suffering of the flood-affected people. Shehbaz Sharif appreciated the efforts and work of Sindh Chief Minister Syed Murad Ali Shah and Federal Minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari for the people of Sindh. He also lauded the dedicated services of armed forces in rescue and relief operations all over the country, providing food and medical aid to the affected people. Prime Minister appealed to media and other organizations to come forward and help their countrymen in these troubled times. He further said this is not the time for politics, rather we need to join hands to get through these difficult times. Prime Minister expressing concern over the complete destruction of cotton crop in the flood-hit areas of Sindh said it was the livelihood for the locals. He said the government has ordered 7 million tents to fulfill the dire need of shelter of the displaced persons. Shehbaz Sharif said medical camps have also been set up at the relief camps to avert the spread of diseases. The Prime Minister said the magnitude of the disaster was bigger than the capacity of the country, and he expressed gratitude to the friendly countries for their assistance. The Prime Minister interacted with the flood-affected people and distributed checks of compensation among them. Speaker National Assembly Raja Parvez Ashraf has called on the global community to take action to tackle the climate crisis and come forward to help Pakistan as it has been affected the most. He expressed these views while addressing the inaugural session of the first international conference on climate-resilient agriculture for sustainable development and food security held under the auspices of Allama Iqbal Open University in Islamabad today. The speaker said Pakistan is vulnerable to climate change even though it contributes less than 1% of global greenhouse gases that warm our planet. While appreciating the efforts of the organizers for taking the initiative to hold a dialogue on the importance of introducing climate-resilient agriculture in the country, the speaker expressed hope that this conference would be fruitful for the formulation of a national discourse on agriculture and food security. The United States has pledged full support to Pakistan in mitigating the sufferings of the flood affectees. The assurance was given by a U.S. congressional delegation headed by Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee during a meeting with Minister for Climate Change Sherry Rahman in Islamabad today. The delegation expressed grave concern on the devastation wreaked by the monster monsoon. The minister appraised the delegation of the current relief efforts and the assistance required for rehabilitation of the flood-affected areas and population. Pakistan and the United Arab Emirates have agreed to accelerate the economic activities between the two countries. The agreement was reached at a meeting between Finance Minister Miftah Ismail and UAE economic team members in Islamabad today. The UAE economic team appreciated the cooperation of the government for foreign investment in Pakistan. The meeting also reviewed various bilateral issues of the common concern. They discussed further cooperation in the fields of energy, economy, and other fields. Miftah Ismail apprised the UAE economic team about investment-friendly policies of the present government and conducive atmosphere for investment in Pakistan. This is Radio Pakistan. Minister of State for Foreign Affairs Hina Rabbani Kar has said Pakistan, being a responsible state with advanced nuclear technology, remains fully cognizant of its obligations to non-proliferation and disarmament. Addressing a global conference on promotion of strategic trade controls through international cooperation in Islamabad today, she reiterated that Pakistan shares the global concerns on proliferation of weapons of mass destruction. Hina Rabbani Kar said Pakistan stands out as a country that has extensive legislative, regulatory and administrative framework for effective control of transfer of sensitive goods and technology to prevent their diversion to non-peaceful uses. She maintained that our export control regime is at par with international export control standards and best practices. The Minister of State recalled that Pakistan has appealed for the membership of Nuclear Supply Group back in 2016. She said Pakistan strongly believes that its expertise, capabilities, and strong credentials of cooperation should help further non-proliferation goals of NSG. The minister further said the NSG should agree on an objective criterion for the membership of non-NPT states, which is applicable without any discrimination. The Minister of State said Pakistan has a comprehensive program to harness the full potential of nuclear energy for peaceful application. He said we have the expertise, infrastructure, and human resource in this regard. Hina Rabbani Kar pointed out that our national stated goal envisages expansion in the nuclear energy capacity to no less than 50,000 megawatts by 2050. She further said Pakistan aspires to work with the international community to develop an all-encompassing and comprehensive framework of cooperation in this field while effectively addressing the objective of non-proliferation. She said this cooperation shall lead to economic progress and development across the globe. Modi-led India has stepped up its state terrorism in occupied Jammu and Kashmir, particularly after 5th August 2019, when the regime revoked Kashmiri's special status and placed the territory under an undeclared martial law. A Srinagar-based civil society organization spokesperson requesting anonymity informed Kashmir Media Service that Indian troops are blatantly involved in war crimes in the occupied territory, where innocent youth are massacred extrajudicially, in custody, and in fake encounters. The spokesperson cited the recent killing of a mentally unsounded AJK resident, Tabarak Hussain, as just one example. In Afghanistan, 2 employees of Russian embassy were killed and several wounded in an attack near the diplomatic mission in Kabul today. According to Russian Foreign Ministry, an unidentified militant set off an explosive device in the immediate vicinity of the entrance to consular section of the Russian embassy in Kabul. Tension still prevails over Europe's largest nuclear plant today, a day before the UN inspectors are due to report on their efforts to avert a potential disaster at the Ukrainian site engulfed by Russia. The Russian military accused Ukrainian forces of staging provocations at the Zaporizhia plant, which lies within a Russian-installed administrative area. Russia's defense ministry claimed that Kyiv's forces on Sunday targeted the territory of the plant with a drone, which it said Russian troops were able to shoot down. India will take on Sri Lanka in the 9th match of Super 4 phase of the Asia Cup cricket tournament in Dubai tomorrow. The match will start at 7 p.m. Pakistan Standard Time. And finally, the weather. Rain with wind and thunder shower is expected in Upper Punjab, Upper Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Gilgit-Baltistan and Kashmir during the next 12 hours. However, hot and humid weather is likely to prevail elsewhere in the country. And that is the end of the news. For more news and analyses, log on to our website, radio.gov.pk. And also watch live streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com/radio, Pakistan News Official.